If you spend enough time around successful people, you'll hear plenty of stories about risk. But looking back, those stories usually sound much simpler than they felt at the time, because what we don't usually hear about is everything that went into the decision before someone took the leap. But first, a story. I always wanted to be a race car driver. When my dad got out of the Air Force, he was a navigator in road rallies, and somewhere along the way, I caught the bug. A few years after I started my business, I'd saved enough money to buy a well-used Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet. But it wasn't a race car. It was also my daily driver, my weekend toy, and the fulfillment of a childhood dream. I started taking it to autocross events around South Florida and to Moroso Motorsports Park in Palm Beach. I didn't have a trailer or a crew, and I didn't have another car waiting for me at home. I'd put the top down, load 3 racing tires in the back, buckle 1 into the front seat, drive to the track, swap wheels, put on my helmet, scoot around all day, put the street tires back on, and then drive home. But let me tell you about the crash that changed everything. One afternoon, I was following a brand new black Porsche 944 Turbo around a corner when the driver got sideways and lost control. The car slid off the track and scraped and bounced along a tire wall. The yellow warning flag came out and everyone slowed. I was behind him, so I pulled off the track and dashed over to make sure the driver was okay. He was. He wasn't hurt at all, but his car was a wreck. The driver's side looked like it was made from crumpled black tinfoil. While we stood there looking at the damage, he kept repeating the same thing over and over. Oh no, it's my only car. What am I going to do? I felt awful for him because I understood. And then as I walked back towards my car idling on the track's shoulder, one of the corner marshals said something under his breath that stopped me cold. You shouldn't race what you can't replace. I realized he wasn't really talking about that 944. He was talking about my car. Up until that very moment, I had been thinking about risk in terms of safety. I had a roll bar, a helmet, proper equipment, and I was at a well-run event. But I also had a young child at home and a new business that was still on shaky ground. My 911 wasn't a toy. It was how I took my son to preschool. It was how I got to work. So when they raised the yellow flag and let us back on the track, I didn't hop in and stomp on the gas. Instead, I drove into the pits, changed the wheels, and went home. I sold the racing wheels, I sold my helmet, and I've never raced again. I've also never forgotten what that corner worker said. You shouldn't race what you can't replace.